think I have some sort of an update here on this FAU, exciting. Me attending the game on Thursday.
All right, getting closer.
So are these negotiations? What's happening here?
This doesn't feel like a negotiation. The guy helping us with it just messaged me, would you be willing to be a member of the band? Where's the band sit?
Usually behind one of the baskets.
Not on the bench.
I need a top 3 rows in the band, and I'll do it.
Well, I don't know, but that's not.
No, I'm with you. I don't want to do that either.
That's not what we signed up for.
Right,
but they get so many cutaways. The cutaways to the band, particularly when they're sad. That's a key part of March Madness.
Mm-hmm. But he wants to be a part of the bench celebration. That's what we originally pitched.
It's not great that this is what's happening right now, that they're negotiating with you and they're trying to give you something less than what their coach promised. That sport is corrupt. Rick Pitino just got a 6-year deal at St. John's. I've lived long enough to see the sport get so contaminated that it comes back to him.
He hasn't lived long enough where he got that job. It's unbelievable. It's come full circle for Rick. I mean, he's back.
I can't believe that FAU, they're trying to negotiate you down. They're trying.
There's some ghosting going on. Like he finally got a response and was like, the band maybe? Or...
In a negotiation, there's something else to give. It feels like we're like, hey, we're just going to show up. And they're like, I don't know if that's good enough.
Think about all the attention we could give you. They're like, we're in the Sweet 16. Like, yeah, what are we doing here?
It's a televised game. We'll get plenty.
Madison Square Garden.
I don't think I've ever wasted more time in my life than in the, I'm going to call it a months-long fight to have the University of Central Florida treat us like they were national champions. The school, trying to get the school on board with ESPN and Disney's help, that near Orlando. We had so many giant things planned that were nuked by the president of UCF. And FAU's a tiny little sports school in town. Tiny little sports school. They are in the Sweet 16, but I would think that it wouldn't hurt them to put you on the very end of the bench when the coach is telling us we got 40 empty seats over there.
It's a difficult ask because I see both sides. I see us like, come on, how much damage could I do at the very end? But from their perspective, like, why would they bring someone new in at this moment? Like, they've been doing it the same way all season.
Because we are a bandwagon town.
Guys, jazz hands. Today, before this game, here's Chris Cote from the Le Batard Show.
Who's this guy?
And all of a sudden, I'm in front of the team like, guys.
Juggling.
I knew you'd be here.
10th year senior,
Hoot,
Chris
hoot.
Cote.
Hoot, hoot.
I want this to end with a parade down Glades Road.
Oh, I can't wait.
You on one of the floats as a lifelong bandwagon owl. You're descended from owls because your father and your mother met at FAU, I think.
Damn right we did.
Nobody more wealified than me.
You guys,
We're an owl family.
What are the most famous alums in the history of FAU? Every school, whether it's Sister Jean or a celebrity mascot, is needed. And you give me all the people FAU has produced in its life as it's trying to be a school that matters locally. Has been trying since Greg Cote, a mummy, was going to school there 700 years ago.
I think it's Carrot Top.
It might be.
It might be.
Either that or Alfred Morris.
Let's go ahead.
Alfred Morris, the former Washington running back.
Yes.
Had a year.
He did have a year. You know what? He did have a year.
Greg Joseph, kicker for the Vikings.
Cody's are pretty. You guys are FAU royalty. And again, Greg, your wife also went to FAU.
She did. Yeah, I met her there.
Baby.
Yeah.
How did that go? Tell me, did you tell her you were a Marlin scout?
No, I did not.
Of course not. Baseball hadn't been invented then.
That's right. I have never used that line,
I'm
baseball scout.
I'm pretty sure both of my parents had significant others, girlfriend, boyfriends, and when they met each other, they just both needed to leave their significant others for each other.
That is correct.
Wow.
Who cheated the worst, you or mom?
Oh, I don't want to get into
one of you
that
was
kind of a
cheating.
detail. No, I don't want to get into
Were you
that.
both dating at the time?
Yeah, we were both in serious relationships.
Yeah.
Actually. Yeah.
What a
Couple of
tawdry-
cheaters cutting it up. I mean,
a tawdry began with a
Right.
tawdry affair.
Yeah.
Was there deceit at the beginning? Was there betrayal at the beginning on both ends of serious committed
It's
relationships?
Possible that happened.
And weren't Dad, you were the big time sports writer at the school, right? Like Mom left hers because it was like, oh, I got a shot with Greg Cote
Yeah.
here.
She was she worked on the newspaper in layout.
Yeah, she did.
Make your own joke there. I'm not going to do it. And we met, and it was love at first
You were the
sight.
trophy husband. You were the big catch on campus.
Believe it or not, yeah. It's all downhill from there.
How many years had FAU? I'm not making an old
Existed.
joke here. How many had it existed before? Like, what year was the school in when you were there? Do you know?
I think it was. I almost said invented. I think it was founded in the 60s. I'm not even sure.
1961. Wiki
Okay,
says.
61. All right, I was there in the very late 70s, but
You had to throw in very, huh?
there were very few.
Had to, yes.
Very few. sports
79?
there. It was a barren
Was it
landscape.
79 or was it 78 or 77? Was it
If it was
76?
76,
And now
not
it's
very.
mid-70s now.
76? Was it 75?
I think I graduated in 81. I was there beginning in. It took me like
75,
It took me 5 years to get through school because I worked.
You were too
30
busy having an affair.
No, I worked 39
Tawdry.
hours a week at the Miami Herald. What does that
Right.
tell you? 39 hours a week.
Mm-hmm.
But they only had tennis back then, and baseball were the only two varsity sports. And there was
Varsity.
Yeah, they were varsity sports.
In college? Like I thought in
College.
college they're all varsity.
No, there were intramural sports. Like I played
Like club teams.
in high
Yeah, I
school,
played
yeah.
on the club soccer team.
Right.
We had uniforms. We traveled, but it was not a varsity sport.
I think they refer to it as scholarship sports now.
Okay.
It could have been varsity
Yeah.
back then.
Okay. Yeah, it was varsity and JV. But
Those are high school things. Were those college things at one point?
yeah, they were college.
This
things.
is wildly uninteresting. Greg Cote loves
Let's get
talking
back to
about
the
himself. No,
affair.
I regret opening this door.
You should.
I thought there was interesting stuff here. He wouldn't give it to us when it came to his affair. But talk to him about his early years at FAU, and he'll yammer you a yarn that goes on for months.
right.
Dad, which ex was most upset afterwards? Your ex or Mom's ex?
I think mine. Yeah, we fell out of a relationship.
How
Can
long?
you just try to be interesting
yeah,
for a
like,
second?
just-
I'm
in
not
this
gonna.
segment?
I'm not gonna go into
It
detail.
was 7,000 years ago.
Yeah, and all the parties are still alive.
It feels like your wife told her boyfriend at the time, like right at the time, "Hey, I love
never
Greg,"
heard you
and you carried
hide.
yours on a little bit
unbelievable.
further.
Right.
Commenting.
Yeah.
He's no commenting us.
No, it's worse. He's like commenting without commenting.
Nothing, while
Like it's-
saying nothing. No, that's a perfect thing to shout at him. Look, Chris, this is what I want to tell you. It's as long as your father
It's his affair. I mean,
Thank you.
has been in front of a microphone, I have shouting loudly in the back of my head for, I don't know, 30 years, feeling like the World Baseball Classic of emotion shouted at his face. Be interesting!
his response is, "I am," because everything I say is interesting.
The Greg Cote Show podcast listeners seem to like it. I mean, what can I tell you? I'll save all the interesting stuff for my own podcast.
attaboy.
What were you saying this week on there about how everyone should? You had advice, like world advice for every single person out there.
I can enrich everyone's life with the advice I'm about to give, which is find the oldest person you know and talk to them about their life before they disappear. You'll be glad you did.
Isn't that what we have you for?
We're
Hey!
attempting.
You are the oldest
We're
person we know.
attempting to at this moment in time.
It could. Well, I'm not the oldest person you know because I am in the social media age. So many of us lived private lives before social media, before podcasting. Those are the people you have to talk to because chances are some of them are like Pop Doogie,
There we go.
my grandfather, who, because I talked to him for a school assignment, I find out that he is in the congressional record because he testified before Congress about child labor because he, at age 9 and 10, he worked in a textile mill, a grimy textile mill in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and he testifies before Congress, and he was a part of the Child Labor Act of 1938. How about that?
I was really hoping you would talk for the rest of the show, like nonstop, telling a story that took us through the 1930s. But instead, you ended with the Stugotz lazy dismount of, how about that?
Well, I mean, the congressional record. You're not in the congressional record, LeBatard. Pop Doogie is. Charles Lewis Doogie.
How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Nana and Pop. My grandfather always said that he could dodge a train. He could dodge a car. Whenever people got killed by trains all the time back in the day. Whenever that happened,
Still happens.
my grandfather, he was a little senile by this time. He would stand up and motion how he would get out of the way if an oncoming train was about to hit him. He could not figure out why anybody got hit by a train. He would dodge that train. And you know what? Makes a degree of sense. The train lets you know it's coming. You know what I mean? It's like a hurricane. Why is anybody getting hit by a train? I just don't understand it. And R.I.P. if you've been hit by a train and died. R.I.P. to your family. I'm not mocking. I'm just wondering. That's the strangest way to die to me, getting hit by a train. I just can't figure it out. Pop Doogie never got hit by a train because he could dodge it.
And you know it.
Exactly. And you know it.
We actually have one more spring training clip from yesterday. Since you bring up and you know it, Billy, of course, always trying to impress Greg Cote. Had to drop a Greg Cote line in the middle of the broadcast.
Like Skip has his pants pulled all the way up. You see his calves in those socks.
And it was just a couple of months ago, I think our first question to him, Billy, was, when's the last time he missed a workout?
Oh, that's right.
Well put together guy.
Yep. And you know it.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1-2.
He does have sneaky, impressive calves.
Built well.
Yeah.
Nothing else there.
Just listen to the sounds of the game, my friend.
The Greg Cote Show featuring Greg Cote is the name of the podcast.
Fine.
What is on it this week?
What is on it, Christopher? We're all over.
All right, let's just go to break.
Yeah.
Jeff Passan is going to join us here in studio. He's in town for the World Baseball Classic. Hopefully he's bringing Elmo with him. Always enjoyed Jeff Passan's time with us. I don't think we've been in studio with him before, so looking forward to that. Larry Johnson is going to join us, and I believe somebody among us thought that it was Larry Johnson, the former Chiefs running back, which would be an older guest. But we're going older than that with Larry Johnson,
Grandmama,
who might literally be a grandmama at this time in his life. He is going to join us, and we are going to talk about, among other things, in the 8 minutes that we have with him, how he really feels about Alonzo Mourning. I want to know if he is
all 8 minutes, please.
I want to know if he's still bitter about this. It has the potential to not go well. I don't want to upset Larry Johnson, not at this age, not at any time in my life. Larry Johnson is a man to be feared. Larry Johnson was a rugged basketball player. I don't know how old he is now. He's got to be in his 50s, I would imagine.
I would think. Yeah, I'll check on it.
I saw Alonzo Mourning the other day.
So
He remains mammoth, remains unbelievably fit.
Still scowling.
Looks like he is playing shape.
54 for Larry Johnson.
All right, so Grandmama is going to join us here in a little bit, but I need to update our tournament, and there are some college basketball things I want to talk about because I simply don't want to normalize the breathtaking amazing it is that Rick Pitino's back in the game. I don't want this to be a day that passes where not just because he's a vampire, but he is the literal undead, proving you cannot kill a coaching career that could take 3 programs to the Final Four. It can't be killed, not by 15 seconds of sex in an Italian restaurant. It can't be killed by any kind of shame, not by wiretaps. It is a career that cannot be killed. It will survive climate change. It will survive a nuclear holocaust.
Everything.
At the end, all that will stand in the next life form is Pitino, glowing and radiant and undead, and he's going to take his team to the Final Four.
In a white suit.
He'll be coaching a 4 seed against the aliens.
A 6-year deal for Pitino.
Yep.
They should have just made it a lifetime deal for the vampire. They were afraid of having to pay him for the next 7,000 years.
This is his favorite school color. I mean,
he's not so crazy about the Saint. The Saint in the
He'll
name.
overcome it.
I don't know how this works. There've got to be crosses all around that school. They're going to have to take those down.
They've already started doing that.
But there have to be. Do there not? One would not assume that if we were to go to the campus or around the gym of St. John's University, that we will see crosses and religious symbols that are likely to make Rick Pitino's job there harder.
I would bet that there are as many crosses at that school as there is any school in America, Dan.
Yeah.
Yes. But he will figure out his way around.
Why
Just
aren't
avoid the crosses.
Why isn't there a sports team nicknamed the Vampires?
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good menacing team
The
nickname.
Vamps?
Out of the Big Ten?
The religious groups might not like that a whole lot.
What
Why?
about the Devils?
The vampires?
What do you mean, the religious groups?
Yeah,
What do you mean,
I
like
mean,
a
it's-
religious
it's-
school wouldn't
it's-
want to be associated with the undead?
Right. It's akin to,
Greg.
Yeah.
The Blue Devils. That's the nickname of a school.
I know, but, that's Duke, so.
It's not a
you make
religious
Oh, that's
exception-
Duke. Okay,
you
that's
make
the
an
excuse.
exception because it's
He's
Duke.
right. Holy
It's
Cross is
Krzyzewski.
unlikely to be the Devils. He make any of the religious schools
Yeah.
probably unlikely to have a devil of a mascot.
I'm just saying. I mean, it doesn't have to be a religious school. Just like what's a program that you think nothing about? I don't know, like Purdue. What if Purdue with the vampires instead of the Boilermakers?
I've been
More
doing some
interesting, right?
Yeah, I've been doing some research. I'm looking here at Carneseca Arena, and looks to be like there are no crosses inside the gym.
Ooh,
Wow.
We got him on the case. We got Tony on the
lucky.
case.
The
Are
Yeah.
you
Pitino
doing one of
effect.
those like real estate drone tours?
Yeah, I'm doing
where
a,
you're-
doing a tour right now, yeah.
Google Maps. You draw the little person on the screen.
Nice facility.
Carneseca Arena. Looking
No,
good.
so no crosses anywhere.
That's hard to believe. It's St. John's.
Just in the arena, they're saying.
St.
though.
I
John.
know, but still. I
Right.
mean, if Pitino had his way, they would just call it John's. Get rid of the Saint altogether. I can see them doing that. Right?
John's.
Why are you wedded to the Saint? I mean, John's University.
Well, they've already changed, right? They used to be the St. John. They're now the Red Storm, correct? They used to be the Red Men, so they did have to
Yes.
change part of their name. Now,
Now they're just red.
yeah.
Yeah.
Which, as you mentioned,
Red blood.
Pitino loves. Yes,
That's the
thank you,
right color.
thank you,
Yes.
Stugotz, for pointing out that blood is red.
The John Red.
That's right. If they're bad, they'll suck, and he'll say, "What's wrong with that?"
It's pretty good.
Oh, wow. Oh, man. Ooh, boy.
Let's update the tournament here, but before we do so, our tournament brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. I just want to go into the Pitino file. I did not think this day would come, Stugotz. Usually we empty the Pitino file or all files on people who are in the news when they die, but that day is never going to come for Rick Pitino, nor his career. And so we will have no chance to go to our Pitino file very often. We did a 30 for 30 at ESPN. Stugotz voiced it, where we explained to people, and I think we broke this news. We broke this news at ESPN, right? That Pitino was a vampire.
We did, yes. Yeah.
Nobody covered that the way our show did. And so we did a 30 for 30. We did the research. It was a great 30 for 30. It's what got Meadowlark into the film business.
What if I told you that one of college basketball's most decorated coaches was born 400 years before the sport was first played? That he clearly chose basketball because it was indoors. That after several lustful centuries roaming the beyond, he finally found love on an Italian restaurant table for 15 seconds. That he could have gone for a second course and still had time left on the shot clock. That he expected accountability from everyone around him, but he himself was incapable of looking in the mirror. Literally. That the opponent he feared the most is Holy Cross. That up until this point, the only thing that stuck to him were a few crumbs from that restaurant floor.
Come on.
What happened?
That this whole time, he's been coaching 90 minutes away from Transylvania University. That he's not too worried about his latest scandal because if he sits out the next few hundred seasons, the right job will become available.
See?
That Van Helsing isn't walking through that door. That UMass might need a coach, but Minuteman would be giving him too much credit. That the FBI put the final nail in the coffin. ESPN Films presents the greatest example of time healing all wounds, except, of course, for a stake to the heart.
Holy crap, does your voice sound great in that?
Oh, my God. It's so unbelievable.
It's a
What
different
a difference.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was only 5 years ago.
Different time. Yeah.
Eaters.
Do you hear it, Stugotz? You hear how much more
my
youthful?
voice sounds great today.
The broadcast pipes, the broadcast pipes were stronger in our prime at ESPN. I need to stop today. It really is a cause for celebration. It needs to be, because the FBI didn't put the final nail in the coffin.
No, they didn't.
He's back, because he's always going to be back, because somebody is always going to need to get to the Final Four.
St. John's has been bad for a while, and they've gone to the alumni. Well, I believe Chris Mullen was the coach there for a while, and nothing has worked for St. John's since I was watching the Big East in 2005.
Not since Mike Jarvis was the coach.
Yeah.
Rick Pitino has made so much money coaching. He owns racehorses. He doesn't need any of this, except for the part about being a bloodsucker on college basketball that needs it in his veins. He's going to get back in the game, Stugotz. Like, he's going to make the jump.
Oh, he's there, Dan.
In his late 70s. He's going to break this contract.
You mean back in the game, like back to Kentucky? Like,
Yeah,
he's going to make
I'm
it
saying
all
top
the
of
way
the
back.
sport, top
Right.
of the sport.
Like
He's
Carolina,
yes,
perhaps.
He's going to face off again. He is going, him, and that used car salesman Calipari are going to just stare at each other and point and be the Spider-Man meme of you again through the eternities. They're just going to roll around.
Soon it will just be the two of them.
Yes, always getting a Boogie Cousins to be better than you. Yes.
How long does Duke have to be bad before they go to Pitino?
No. That's never happening. That's never happening, dude. Never.
Over Coach K's dead body.
But never over Pitino's dead body. The career lives on. Now, lest you think we didn't break this story, Jay Billis, I don't remember the context of this. I think Jay Billis, we were criticizing him because the whole network was soft on Pitino and nobody wanted to call him out on anything. And Billis was going to do some big interview with Pitino but couldn't get a hold of him, was leaving voicemail messages. Is that the context?
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey, David, it's Billis. We're all set for the Pitino interview. He didn't ask for any conditions on topics. I can ask anything I want, and I can go into any area I want. He did have a couple of requests, logistical stuff, so it shouldn't be a big deal. He'd like to do the interview at midnight, and he's going to be in the Carpathian Mountains, so I guess we'll have to have a local camera crew. Really can't blame him for wanting to get out of town with all the media attention. He did ask about our blood types, and he expressed some concern over garlic being used, so you might want to let catering know that he may have some dietary restrictions. He said bottled water would be fine, and asked that we make sure there was no holy water. He asked about the appropriate attire, which frankly I hadn't thought about. So I just told him business casual, open collar. That seemed to make him happy. He asked if I was going to wear a turtleneck, but I told him I'm not Steve Jobs or Mike Bray, and he got a kick out of that one. So, okay, that's it. So I'll just see you at the venue. And let's not let this out to anyone until the interview's done. Like, don't tell Le Batard, because he'll just make a big joke out of everything on the air. No offense, but that guy's stupid. All right, later.
Was he in I Come in Peace, the movie?
Yes, he was. He was in the back seat. He was the good alien, according to the credits, I guess.
Tony seems baffled by all of this.
That was right off the cuff. That was incredible.
This is what I'm telling you.
I saw the movie. So.
Roy is a weird.
Read the credits?
It's a weird.
Yeah.
He's a weird savant. It's a useless tool that he has.
It's not
until you need it.
Until you need it. Very useful, isn't it? Dolph Lundgren.
Where is he?
Bills.
Really? Oh, shit. That makes sense because the Patriots signed James Robinson.
All right, this excitement needs to be addressed because Tony and Stugotz and God Bless Football, it's the middle of March, and they are just addicted to the one-year deal. A name is going here, a name is going there. What do you mean Braxton Berrios is a Dolphin?
What we're doing is, because free agency will come to a halt at some point, and then we'll forget about football just for a couple of months, and it will be us, baseball, and Joey Chestnut. And then what I'm telling you, that's it. That's all we'll have. And then what will happen is week 1 NFL season, you will have some guys that you forgot signed with a certain team, and you'll have a slap of the head moment where third quarter, Dan, and this is number 5 on my list, by the way, you'll realize Brandon Cooks is a Cowboy, and he'll have 6 catches, 77 yards, and a tutty first catch.
No, but it's got to be more obscure than that.
That was literally the
His
biggest.
list, though.
That was the biggest news story yesterday.
It's got to be the rich getting a little bit richer, but you forgot they got richer, and you slap yourself on the forehead and say, "Oh man, why didn't I take Brandon Cooks in the 3rd round of my fantasy
Why do you
draft?"
say that it's 5th on your list? What list?
Oh, we have a list of top 5 guys. Week 1, you're going to slap your forehead and said, "Wow, they signed that guy?"
Okay, but I think the way you're playing this game, it's your game. We'll do your list, but I think you went too famous there. I think you went with a move that was too big, right? I'm thinking more the Trent Sherfield category.
He wants to be a great. He wants to be a great receiver. What do you got to do? Play with a great quarterback.
Exactly.
Go to the Bills, and wait a minute, when did he become a Bill? I wasn't paying attention. How did that happen? When did that happen? 1-year deal.
Right. Damian Harris would be another guy, former Patriots running back.
Don't give away your list yet.
I mean, you went to it. So.
No, but you went to it.
Right. Well,
I had no interest in going to it. You and Tony were talking off air.
We got excited.
I know.
There's some names, Dan.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, figure out how to do that segment. Top 5 things you're excited about. Crappy football fix in March.
It's going to be a combined list, okay? We're going to combine our top 5s. We'll present it together. Myself and Tony, we're calling it a Stony. How about that?
I like it. I have a one-man list, if anybody wants it, because I just found this out. Cam Newton making a comeback.
Well, this is a good story, though. It's not Cam Newton at Auburn Pro Day made me sad.
Why?
Cam Newton was MVP of the league, a physical specimen. Whether it's a car accident or the game, his body is broken, and now he's got to go to an Auburn Pro Day to tell people he can play a position where Baker Mayfield just got a job in Tampa. Like that, it's a bit humiliating. The guy has carried himself with a great deal of ego and confidence that was earned for a long time.
By the way, I'm glad that Baker Mayfield cleared it up, that he's not going to be Tom Brady and never going to be Tom Brady. Because I was wondering to myself, who's going to be the next Tom Brady? And is there a chance that Baker Mayfield might be the guy? But he said he's not.
This is why God Bless Football is a weekly hit. If you want your weekly hit, go there. Stugotz gets all excited about these things. Greg Cote does too. Tony does too. That is enough football around here, unless you guys want to talk about the Goodell extension.
Jamison Crowder's a Bill.
Has Jamison Crowder been on 11 teams?
I don't know.
Just in the AFC.
I want to get to some sound here from Nick Saban, and I want to update our tournament, and I want to get to Back in My Day. Greg Cote, how do you feel about Back in My Day today? We're very excited. GNC is very excited that Greg's an excellent writer, has been for 50 years, back when he was having an affair in college that as the big sports writer, he's been grooming a craft of excellent writing.
Thank you.
And the Back in My Day is a celebration of that. Has been for how long? You're running out of topics because you've done 10 years worth of them.
I think 2014 is when it was christened.
And it's a lot. You've run out of ideas.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
You are tired.
Yeah.
And it's hard every week. You're petering out. This is an homage to what Andy Rooney used to do on 60 Minutes, right? An old curmudgeon complaining about things.
That's pretty much it, yeah. That's pretty much it.
Times were better.
Yeah,
back
Andy
then.
Rooney. That's very good. I hadn't really considered that, but you're right.
How do you feel about today's Back in My Day?
Exuberant.
Really?
Yeah, ebullient.
All right. Well, let's. Then we got to get to it immediately. We got to knock everything else out of the way. We'll update tournament in a second, but here it is. Greg Cote's sponsored by GNC. Back in My Day.
It's presented by GNC. Your glory days start now.
And now, it is time to take a trip down memory lane. Here's your guide, Greg Cote, with Back in My Day.
Cars! You know, one of Greg Cote's earliest memories is watching the Jetsons on TV. Aired in 1962 and 63, it was a futuristic cartoon, sort of the Flintstones on Fast Forward, and George Jetson and the fam drove a flying car that looked like a little spaceship. My dad, Wild Bill Cote, drove a used 1954 Chevy Bel Air in real life at the time. The idea of flying cars was beyond impossible to grasp. Fast forward, today, right now, a Swedish company called Jetson One produces small one-seater cars made for both land and air. They run on electric motors or Tesla battery packs and can go up to 63 miles per hour and stay airborne for 20 minutes. Some have called them drone-like, but it's just the beginning. Flying cars aren't cartoon sitcoms anymore. What the hell happened to the automobile? Where did it go? We used to love driving. Now we try to avoid it. The car used to rely entirely on you. Now the car doesn't even need you. It's on its own. The auto is now autonomous. The Society of Automotive Engineers and U.S. Department of Transportation lists 6 levels of driving automation. Listen to the description of the highest level. Level 6 is a vehicle capable of sensing its environment and operating without human involvement. A human passenger is not required to take control of the vehicle at any time, nor is a human passenger required to be present in the vehicle at all. An autonomous car can go anywhere a traditional car goes and do everything an exceptional human driver does. That ain't someday, folks. For the right price, it's right now. Why the hell do I want to buy a car I don't need to ever drive? It's like buying a priceless painting I don't ever look at. I don't want my car to do everything for me. I don't want my car to do anything for me. I want to do more for my car. Take back the wheel, so to speak. That starts with starting the damn car. No, I don't need a hand crank like Pop Doogie's pappy had on his Model T, but I don't want a push-button ignition either. How about an old-fashioned key? Why do you think they call it turning on the ignition? Just for laughs, I like to go into a new car showroom and the salesman thinks I'm about to close a deal on an expensive car, but at the last minute before signing the papers, I tell him I'd like a cassette tape player and no air conditioning just to see the look on his face. I miss crank windows. Too many unnecessary conveniences now. Cruise control. Please, I've got cruise control built in. It's called my right foot. It controls how fast the car goes. No button or steering wheel lever needed. Power steering. There's another one. Why do I want to give my power to the car? The power that I once had. The car is a ton of metal. I'm a damn college graduate. Seat settings at the push of a button, for the love of God. My wife's car beeps at me when I get too close to the middle lane and automatically brakes if I get too close to the car in front of me. I can't even be a bad driver if I try. I'm in a restaurant last week, and the guy I'm with starts his car remotely from the boot we're sitting in as we ask for the check. Sunroofs, moon roofs, panoramic roofs. How about you just get a damn convertible? Bluetooth, HD radio, satellite. I'll take AM, please, with Wolfman Jack talking through the static, and I'll crank the windows down so everybody can hear. I'm Greg Cote, and that's how it was back in my day.
Yes. Yes. Amazing.
It's
so right.
Not only is he right, not only and so very wrong, and so very wrong. No, but this is where he's right.
Power steering.
This is where he's right.
That was the odd one.
He's wrong about a number of different things here. The one he's not wrong about is we're in the middle of a future where we are going to send these cars as missiles toward our people, and they're going to kill a lot of people because we don't have control of these things. AI is the greatest threat that isn't climate change to everything that we are. And he is so right. The robots soon will be able to throw these cars at us. And they don't like what we've done. Like we are headed straight to hell with our technology.
But no air conditioning?
Yeah, but that switching lane thing will scare the daylights out of anyone.
I don't like the automatic brakes. I'm kind of with him on that.
Yeah, the automatic brakes freak
Let me
out.
crash.
Yeah.
I mean,
Ridiculous.
I'm sort of with Stugotz on. I don't like when my car jerks me back into place. And hey, I was changing lanes. I knew what I was doing.
I'm just in Miami. I don't use my blinker. Sorry.
My car scolds me. So I was driving home from Orlando at night, and it was like, you clearly need a rest. Like,
I've had that happen.
I wasn't apparently paying attention enough to the road. I was too excited about my Jags.
It's basically a little thing on the thing that pops up. Hey, this driver's sleepy or drunk
right,
or something.
Exactly.
There's
and
a drowsy meter.
The little icon is like a cup of coffee with like smoke coming off it. It's like you need some coffee or a nap in order to keep driving. I'm like, I'm fine. I was just excited about Jags plus 7.5.
You start
Leave
yelling.
me alone, car.
You start yelling at the car. It's like, no, you need a nap. When do you nap?
They're putting life coaches in to say you need to relax. I could feel your body. You're not driving as well as you normally do.
Is it like following my eye movement? How does it know?
I think it's if you veer. Like if they've noticed that you've had to center your car like maybe 5 times in
That's
3
what it
minutes,
is,
it kind of senses, okay,
right.
there's been some veering here. Are you good? Are you doing that? You got that sleepy feeling? Are you good? Do you need
Are
me
you mildly inebriated?
Yeah.
Like
I hate
if
that
you're-
sleepy feeling.
Like if you're in the right lane and your wheel goes over those bumper things, that's what encourages that to come on.
Okay.
But soon the car is going to know you are celebrating the Jags, right? I mean, that day is coming.
It'll know.
Yes.
Yeah, it knows. It knows already. It's just
There's
in
gonna
the
be like
thing.
there's gonna be confetti that comes through the steering wheel that says covered.
Stugotz, we are headed to a day where you're making so much money from gambling that your car is going to say to you, would you like me to kill that person? Would you like me to just rocket into that person, through that person, and you can disavow any knowledge of it? It'll just be technologies run amok. How many things are going to explode? Seriously. The Teslas are already
They've been exploding for years.
They're burning up, and he's got Elon Musk has put a fart sound in the Tesla. It honks, it farts.
Well, you can put any sound into it. You can like put like a USB stick into it. You can turn it. You can have like the music to Greg Cody's "Back in My Day" come through your Tesla if you want to.
Wow.
Bay.
Yeah, there you go.
You just can't get into your driveway.
That would be the horn. That's how somebody's texting at a green light, and I'm gonna lean on the horn.
Will you go and you know it?
Yeah, I like that.
And you know it.
That kind of thing.
Hit someone. I hit someone. I say, how about that? I mean,
baby.
No, that's
What kind of horn is that?
sexually aggressive. No,
That's a nighttime horn.
That's a nighttime horn. That's right.
Yeah,
baby.
That's a car that's leering at you. That is a sexually harassing car going past people on a sidewalk, and you honk, baby. Oh.
It's the car that's pulling into a hotel you pay for by the hour.